Well, most companies, especially today, companies that are really embracing self-organizing teams and self-management and giving their employees the freedom and autonomy to do their own jobs, have some kind of sense of policies, procedures, some guidelines on how that's set up. How is a leader selected? How do teams get selected? How do they disband? How do they allocate resources? All that kind of stuff. What's very interesting about Menasha is that their culture is very emergent. They're very strong on collaboration, on autonomy, but they don't tell people how to do it. And I think that's very surprising when you look at them in light of being 163 years old, seventh-generation family business in a commodity space in an industry that's viewed as very dull and boring by most of the world. But they're an interesting oxymoron of having a very ad hoc and deeply ingrained culture of autonomy. They're also kind of a paradox. That 21st century view of management and innovation that we just talked about, along with the 19th century can-do entrepreneurial spirit from the frontier days. And they're able to manage and balance both of that. The management team, Mike Waite, Jeff Kreplin, and the rest of them, really view themselves as stewards and facilitators. They are there to serve the employees, to give them the tools, the training, the equipment, whatever is necessary to help the employees do what is best for the customers. And that so motivates everybody at Menasha. It's very much of a, how can we delight the customer environment, a la my friend Steve Denning, which then creates innovation, cool products, services, which then customers love, which employees get even more passionate about. So it's very much of a virtuous cycle, if you will, a reinforcing passion and energy. One of the things that's been fascinating to me in the 7 years that I've worked with them is that they've been able to sustain this emergent culture, because I think that's actually kind of rare. And especially through the recession, or the Great Recession, whatever we want to call what we went through, and I think to a degree still are in, they're able to sustain that passion and energy and autonomy and even increase the level of that autonomy and freedom. And it provided tremendous growth for them during what was a very hard time for most companies. I think the root of all this is actually trust. Menasha's culture is based on trusting relationships. And when you have that, the other things are emergent. Mike and his team make themselves vulnerable, open, human. They get down and dirty. They'll even, be on the line. There's no sense of hierarchy, of power, of, well, you should do this if you walk into my office. Mike answers his own phone, and if he doesn't, you leave him voicemail. He doesn't have an assistant answer it or that kind of thing. And I think when you really trust your people and you demonstrate that trust consistently by being human and open, then they become trustworthy. And when they're trustworthy, self-managed, self-organizing teams thrive. And I think that's why for Menasha, they don't really need a handbook. It's in their DNA. It is who they are.